going through some topical studies of the book of Proverbs. And so hopefully that you've been benefiting from those. You can download the discussion guides there on our links. And so make sure you do that. So let's just go ahead and we'll jump in. And I want to welcome here this evening both Lorene and Nikki. Hello, ladies. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
And of
Hello.
course, Janice is here too. So
Don't forget Janice.
I never forget Janice. Trust me. So, how about you, Janice? How has your week gone since the last time that we,
Good.
met? So, you got your dog on your lap.
Yeah.
All, all, all is right with the world. So, yeah.
Aw.
So, cool. Okay. Well, how about you guys? Have you spent much time in the book of Proverbs before, we have been doing this study?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Good. So, what's your overall impression of the book?
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, why is that?
I like learning about wisdom. I like
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how important it is.
It's got so many zingers.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. Some of the proverbs are just a little bit weird and hard to understand. But I would say, by and large, for the most part, when you really take a look at them and ponder what they're saying, you can begin to see the truth that unfolds there for you. So that who is this that says my highlights are everywhere? Who do you have on that?
It's Elaine, I guess. No, it's not Elaine.
Oh, somebody. I'm sorry that it doesn't show up for us who is commenting, but that's just the way this animal works sometimes. I wasn't talking about Janice.
My highlights are everywhere.
In the book of Proverbs.
Oh.
So, you see, that, and we have, it seems like just what I need comes out every time I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure. So, all right, I guess that was Elaine that commented a little bit earlier. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and we'll jump in. We kind of have a little bit of a short lesson tonight, but it's really an important lesson because we're talking about gracious words. And let's just start off with question number 1. And it says, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. You've probably said that before, but found out the hard way that words really do hurt. Being a person of character means that you use your words wisely. Read Proverbs 18:21. Would one of you read that for us, please? And then I heard Lorene shuffling her pages first.
I did. I
All
have
right,
it ready.
So you'll be up next. You'll be up next time, Nikki. So
Okay.
Proverbs 18:21.
Okay.
And it
Words
says-
kill. Words give life. They're either poison or fruit. You decide. That's from the Message. I like that.
Okay. Yeah. Either poison or fruit.
You decide.
Yeah. So it says that the tongue has the power of life and death. Tell about a time when someone's words sucked the life right out of you, or maybe a time when what someone said gave you the strength to keep going. And it doesn't have to be like, the ultimate example either way. Just a time when somebody sucked the life out of you with their words or gave you, enough strength to keep on going. Lorene.
All right. This one was really hard for me, and it was one of those big moments in my life. As when I was let go of a job I was in, people would tell me what other people had said about me, and oh my gosh, it just the those words hurt me so bad. I wish I could go back and not even hear those words, because, but it was really hurtful because, I don't want bad stuff said about me. And plus it wasn't true either, so I didn't like, and it really did suck the life out. That's exactly how I felt. It just, I did not, had no words from myself of that I couldn't even believe that they would say that about me. And it was really hard. It was really hard to take.
I'm sorry you had to experience that. That is hard to take.
All right.
Here's one a comment that says, I remember in my early in my married life, I was singing away in church, and then it says that some lady turned around and said loudly, "You can't sing," you know. So, yeah. Thanks for the encouragement. And
Doesn't matter anyway.
yeah, and you should have said, whoever posted that comment, you should have said, "That's okay. I wasn't singing for your benefit anyway."
Yeah, God's loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, yeah, anyone else wants to share time? Oh, I want to come back to what Lorene said, is that first of all, is that, yeah, that is very painful. And here's something that I've learned in my ministry, and I get blindsided by it all the time. But I'll have people who come to me and say, well, so-and-so said that you said, and I always tell people, I'm not responsible for what so-and-so says that I said. I'm responsible for what I've said. And I really do try to speak appropriately. Now, I don't always get it right. But I also found this, is that there have been plenty of times when my words have been misrepresented, So,
that makes me very sad that person put on there that I've never wanted to sing since.
Yeah, it is sad, huh?
Yeah. I would just encourage them to just sing with all their heart.
Yeah, really.
And who cares what anybody else said?
Yeah.
We, Ron's family, they're not real musical. And so you have Ron and Jeannie who they can carry a tune, but it's not the tune everybody else is singing.
It's not the tune everybody else is carrying.
And then you added Tammy, their Down syndrome sister, and the three of them would sometimes sing like "God Bless America." It was hilarious. They were singing their heart out. But it just didn't. It wasn't melodious to the ear.
Yeah.
But it was funny, and they loved it, and they just sang their hearts out. And I like, you go, you just sing.
Yeah. So, yeah. Any other comments along those lines? So, but yeah, it is. That can really suck the life out of you. What people say, and hopefully hopefully that as we kind of work our way through tonight's study, we will become much more conscious of the impact that our own words have on others. Nikki, Proverbs 12:18. Actually, I have it right here. You don't have to turn down that one just yet, okay?
Okay.
You'll do the next one that's not posted, because this one's already printed out here.
Okay. All right.
It says, Proverbs 12:18 says that the words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Take a personal inventory. How often would you say that your words bring healing in your home, on the job, among your friends, in the community, on social media? Now, there's a whole bunch of questions there, so you take your pick. I'll start. So, sometimes I fall into bad habits in our marriage, and I was reminded just today, I think it was, that I had fallen into a bad habit where Janice said, rightfully so, that it sounds like I'm picking on her, and and I wasn't intending to be malicious, but you know the old story is that if the other person doesn't think it's funny, then it's not. You know, and it wasn't. And so I had to kind of like reassess and seek to do better.
Thank you.
I'm not just saying it for the benefit of those folks who are watching.
Okay.
You know. But you know, yeah, seriously, you know, there are habits that we can fall into, especially with people that we're with all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said I really try to be thoughtful, but the hardest for me is at home.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I did say I especially try to stay thoughtful about what I say on social media because it never goes away.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. A lot of that stuff you carry with you, you know. But go ahead. You want to say?
I've been critical of Val.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I'm really picky about stuff, and I've been really trying to, instead of always noticing the negative, about pointing out the positive, because I can honestly say he never finds fault or he's never negative. And I'm always nitpicking about things, like when he's repairing stuff or whatever, it has to be just perfect. And I realize, man, I got to watch how I say things, and I'm trying to be more encouraging.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, right alongside of that with what Nikki said is I have to, how I've changed my words is by listening to them. And like, I would say stuff before and I didn't even I would just come out without even really listening to what I was saying.
mm-hmm.
And when I started being more mindful, I can tell, like in the area of forgiveness, I can tell by the way I'm talking about an event or something that happened to me. I can tell, say to myself, you still need work on this. I can tell by the way you're saying this, Lorene, that you still need to work on this because you're still bitter,
Yeah.
And so to me, I just being more mindful. And with Janice too, like at home, it's the worst. I'm pretty good with the rest of it,
Yeah,
but
people in
home,
ministry and stuff like that in the public,
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah.
So hard.
It is. That I certainly need to grow in that area, and it's it's one of those things that's a constant battle, So and one and some of that, like I mentioned, is that we'll carry that with us for sometimes the rest of our lives, okay, enough of that. Enough of that wallowing. I don't want to leave it just yet. I'm sorry. I changed my mind.
And you have that prerogative.
I know, and I'm whatever, I guess. Is that social media is a weird thing because you'll say things on social media that you would never dare say to somebody's face.
I wouldn't. I don't do that.
I know that, but I'm saying that a lot of people do.
Oh, yeah. It's horrible.
I know. I for the longest time I just finally got off Twitter. I've come back into it just because I say, okay, let's see if Elon Musk has really made a difference. But I need to tell you, the people on that platform are just mean, and that and I don't know.
That's true of everywhere where people are voicing their opinions, like what's happening in Riverside County, what's happening in Woodcrest, what's happening in your neighborhood. You got neighbors you wouldn't like, that's for sure, because the things they say are like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Mean, inconsiderate, awful.
Yeah. So, and I don't think that you have to be preachy on social media, but I do think that it is helpful to bring encouragement. And even when somebody,
Kind.
yeah, yeah, I had one lady on social media a while back. She posted something that I just knew was in error. That and particularly, about Christianity. And so I sent her a personal message, and I said, "Hey, would you be willing to talk about this? Have a friendly conversation about it, because I would welcome the opportunity to just visit with you." And so instead of snapping at people, that
Well, I think that we need to remember no matter where we're at, if we're on social media, if we're in person or whatever, that we're representing Jesus, and
yeah.
you don't want to be a bad representative.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. And people are going to find enough fault with you as a Christian anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, you act like that. You said this, you did that, and you're a preacher.
Everybody knows what Christians should and should not do, even if they don't believe in Jesus.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's look at number 3. So read Proverbs 10:19. It's your turn, Nikki.
All right. Sin is not ended by multiplying words, but the prudent hold their tongues.
Okay. So, sometimes it's best.
It wouldn't be prudent.
Was that your best George Bush impersonation? Just wouldn't be prudent.
I tried.
So, when you're in an emotionally charged circumstance, do you tend to jump into the argument, or do you show restraint?
I want to.
Are you talking with me?
A lot of times I'm just very opinionated. So when people start, have an emotionally charged thing, or like my family, we're very loud talkers.
They are. It's just it actually, and I'm not kidding you. It's really hard for me sometimes when Janice and her sister and her mom get together, because I feel like, don't we have a volume control in this conversation?
Yeah, and fast.
Yeah, I am not.
You're the slowest talker I know.
It's just the way my brain processes stuff. It's horrible.
I know.
I don't know why it's that way. Maybe it's all the drugs of my ill-spent youth.
I don't think you can blame it on that.
We had a lady in my previous ministry, and Lorene, I will tell you who she is offline. but she's not in our current ministry. Okay, but she was a super fast talker, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. She just was a fast talker, and I'm not, and everything gets tangled up inside of my head, and it takes me a while to get all of the knots untangled before I can say anything. Do you know who I'm talking about? By the way? Oh, I'll tell you later. So one day, she was in the office. She didn't work at the church, okay? And so one day, however, she was at the church office, and she came up with kind of this fire hydrant of words, spewing out of her mouth and stuff like this. And I would try to respond and things like that, and then she would fill in.
I know who it is.
She would fill in for me.
Because you were too slow.
I know that already, but I finally just told her, I said, please let me have an opportunity to just share my own thoughts in
Finish
my
my own
own
sentences.
words. You know? And I know that that was probably hard for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's what they say for people who stutter, that you're not supposed to fill in for them. You're supposed to let them finish what they're saying.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they get frustrated.
Yeah. Well, I do. I have a version, I guess, a mild case of stuttering at times, but I do know my thoughts get extraordinarily tangled in my head, and it's like I can't. I think I'm a pretty fast thinker, but I'm a slow processor.
I think your brain is just so full, Carrie.
I know.
Seriously, you're just always thinking of something.
It's everywhere.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I do know I have ADD, and I'm not trying to excuse that. But I've never been formally diagnosed. But man, I can get all over the map pretty quickly. You know. So.
I can show restraint on most things, but there's some things that just push my buttons and I'm in it. As soon as as soon as that subject comes up, I'm in it. So I have to be careful on that because
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, no one can push my buttons faster than.
True.
And she knows all the ones to push. You know. So.
I said that I really do work at showing restraint with my loved ones. My loved ones would agree. Maybe not Carrie.
Yeah. You know.
How about you, Nikki?
I have really been working on it with my kids. They used to really be able to push my buttons. And it's not that I had to get the last word, but I always felt like I wasn't being heard. So I felt like I just needed to keep saying stuff. And now I have found it's better that if I just don't say anything, and then they want to know why I'm not talking. And then they listen.
Yeah, there you go.
So it works sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So, okay, and it's hard when we're triggered, and maybe that's with politics, but I think that more often, for me, I know that it's most likely for me to get triggered with. Hold on.
I'm holding on.
Okay, you'll have your chance to talk. Give me a break. But it's easy for me to get triggered in personal relationships, particularly when someone's behind me waving their hand. Okay, all right, your turn, Janice.
No, I was just kind of going to thinking about what Nikki said is true. Like sometimes, really, what I need to do is just listen and let the person talk about what they're talking about, and like work through it and stuff, instead of me it's not arguing. So the restraint is just that maybe they don't need my opinion. Maybe they just need my compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, okay. Number 4. And that I'll let Nikki do that because you were in 10:19,
Okay.
and I might as well do 10:20 there. So read Proverbs 10:20. What's it say?
The tongue of the righteous is choice silver, but the heart of the wicked is of little value.
Yeah. Okay. Choice silver. So how can you add value to others with your words? This is so important. It really is. How can you add? And certainly we need to think in terms of our family. Because we grant courtesies to strangers that somehow we feel, don't apply in our family settings. So give one or two things that you could do in the upcoming week to bring value to those with whom you're close. So.
I like what Nikki said. Just be quiet and silent, and just listen. Just listen to what they're saying, and I like that her kids now ask her, "Well, what do you think?" That's good way to do it. It's really good.
Nikki?
I was thinking of just not just speaking empty words to say something positive, but to really think about a person and offer up what you value in them, like what you really see is positive in them, and tell them instead of something you don't agree with, or something like that.
Yeah.
And telling that, being thankful for them, I think is good. It's always letting people know you're thankful for them.
Yeah. I want to piggyback on that for a moment. Is that I actually do this group, or I do this study with another group on Tuesday nights. And so one of the things that I don't know why it came to me or how it came to me, and I've preached about this before, but I think that we need to kind of like learn to differentiate between what people do for you and who they are, and particularly when we're expressing our appreciation. And I do think that it's very valuable to say, I appreciate you, and then maybe follow up with, thank you for doing that for me. So
Yeah, that's good.
but
I mean, we have this, little computer in our hands, and to me, I just like sending texts. Like, sometimes someone just comes across your mind, and you could just send a little thing. Oh, I just thought of you today. Hope all is well. I mean, it doesn't take much to lift someone up. That could make someone's day.
Right.
That simple little thing, and it's so easy to do. Takes just seconds to do, and I like to do that a lot. That's one of my things. I like to do that.
that's good. Really, I
I
mean,
do too.
that's a good thing to do.
And I think when you think of them, it's like the Holy Spirit's kind of like putting them on your
Yeah.
mind. And it used to be if you have to call them or send them a snail mail, but just to be able to send them a text real fast and just say, "Hey, thinking about you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should all pick someone tomorrow and do that.
Okay.
Okay.
And we got 6 people that are watching. So we're putting that challenge out to each one of you who are watching to maybe send some gracious words to somebody. Then it doesn't have to be phony. It doesn't have to be fake. It doesn't have to be florid.
War
Sometimes sometimes I just send a meme or something
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. So
On mine, on my answer for that one, I don't know if this really makes much sense to most people, but I was thinking about calling my brother lives with my mom, and I was thinking about calling them on FaceTime, because I never talk to my brother on the phone really, because I'm always talking. He hands the phone to my mom, and I talk to her.
And it's hard to talk to your mom
Yeah, and
because she
my mom
doesn't
can't
hear.
Yeah. So
It's always interesting to listen to the conversation from this side.
it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I think that like if I'm on FaceTime, then it's more like I could talk to both of them.
Yeah. And he could interpret too.
Yeah. He does anyway, and he'll be saying, I could hear him answer her. She doesn't have to tell me what he says because I can hear him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. So, all right. So we've years ago they had the stupid, and maybe that's a little bit too harsh, but I think that the intent maybe was good, but the ice bucket challenge.
Oh.
Now, if any of you participated in it, just forgive me in advance. But how about we start the gracious word challenge, and instead of throwing a bucket of ice on somebody's head,
No, you don't.
let's shoot them a positive word.
Yeah.
Hey, and I want to say one other thing about this, and I'm pretty certain that she's not watching, but I have a friend, a Facebook friend, by the name of Trina. And out of all of my Facebook friends, she's the one that when you post a prayer request, what she does is that she immediately writes out a prayer and posts that online. You know,
That's nice.
or the same with a text. If somebody requests prayer, that she immediately writes that out in a message and sends it to you. And so I said, that is so wonderful. And so I adopted that policy for myself. Now, I don't always do it, okay, but I try to be very conscious of that fact. You know, that when somebody's, you know, typically when people are asking for prayer online, that something's weighing their heart down. You know?
Yeah.
And I know that you might not be a writer, and that's okay, you know, but I think that it can be very meaningful for people to read that. I have a bunch of Facebook friends that I don't even know. That's just how I roll. And so, and I've had some of them that are in very difficult life circumstances, and they'll post something about it. And I've had on many occasions when I've done that, you know, I'll post a prayer, a written prayer, where their friends will, you know, like it or whatever, or they'll comment on it. And so I think that you can really make a difference in people's lives just by doing that simple thing.
I agree.
So,
Lorraine
but,
has some.
Lorraine.
I have a little story to tell. A couple weeks
Yeah.
ago, I was watching it. I don't know if I shared this, but I was watching a show on astronauts, and one of the astronauts is.
Was
just
it out of this world, by the way? No. I was just
No.
messing. No, I was just messing with you. So,
It was a series about if
Yeah.
Russia landed on the moon before we did.
okay.
So
Gotcha.
it's the whole series about that. But anyway, there was a astronaut in there, and her name reminded me of my friend's name. So I was thinking of my friend while I'm watching this show. I'm thinking of my friend. 1 hour later, I get a text from that friend
Wow.
thanking me for going through grief with her.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
could not believe it. I'm like, okay, this has to be a God thing. You know, how could she know I was, I don't know. It was the most interesting thing that had happened to me for a long time. And I'm the one that got the blessing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm the one that got the blessing.
Yeah.
It was so incredible. I'm like, how does this happen like this? I know, you know, sometimes we think of people and then we call them,
Sure.
Yeah.
but this was the opposite of that.
Right.
You know?
That's cool.
It was bizarre. It was
There are.
the most.
There are. Yeah,
It was
there's
cool.
There's no coincidences with God.
No.
Yeah. So, hey, I got you. You shared a story. I want to share one. Is that a couple Sundays ago, that after I had preached, that one of the ladies was leaving church, and she slowed down. I have a bunch of stuff I have to unload. You know, the audio equipment, the setup and stuff like that. So I have to unload it in the trailer and stuff like that. But she slowed down and rolled down her window, and she just expressed, you know, how much she valued the message that day. And you know, it was just something that we just added a little bit of extra to the day. That can, you know. So I'm not fishing for compliments. That's not what I'm saying. You know, okay. I'm just saying that that type of stuff can really make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know. So, okay. Let's see. Where are we? Question number 5, right? So,
Yeah.
not every good word is pleasant to hear. Read Proverbs 28:23. I think it's your turn, Lorene, for that.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. This is also from the Message, and I loved it. It says,
Okay.
in the end, serious reprimand is appreciated far more than bootlicking flattery.
I wrote that down
What's that?
from the Message. I thought that
Yeah?
was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So And so, by the way, that you wonder and say, well, I don't have all these versions of the Bible. If you got your smartphone
Yeah.
Version.
and you go to U version, now I got,
Just touch.
yeah, there we go. And so if you go to your U version app on your smartphone, and you probably can't see it there because of the light glare, but it's this one right, hang it, it's right there. And if you get the U version app on your phone, it has like a cajillion.
When you go to read, you can change
Yeah.
the translation.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
one of the best tools ever.
it is one of the
Tools ever.
Yeah. They
I
have
love-
they not only have Bible reading plans, but they also have daily devotionals.
And they have a daily one for kids.
Really?
Oh, okay.
They have so much there, and and it's free,
Yeah.
Yep.
you know. So, okay. So when have you been on the receiving end of a rebuke that benefited you?
My dad told me that I don't have to say everything I think when I was younger. He said sometimes you just stay silent, and I kind of listened to that. He goes, just stop. Yeah, and that was good advice.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I didn't think of one in just one particular one, but I was even just mentioning it to Carrie today. I think that as I was growing up and as a young mom, and like even though my mom lived in the same city, I talked to her on the phone every day, and a lot of the times it was like, these kids are driving me crazy, and just complaining, or complaining about Carrie and how he was acting and stuff. And my mom, she always told me that you were a good man.
Well, I have her fooled, huh?
But the thing about it is my mom, if I was doing something that was wrong, my mom would say, and I knew she loved me, so it didn't matter, but she would say, you're not really being very kind, or you're not, she would like kindly say to me, it maybe isn't all their fault,
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that about her.
And 9 times out of 10, it wasn't my fault. Okay, well, enough. I can see I'm going to have some.
Well, it's just different, it's
No,
just
I
like,
understand.
Growing up and all that time. Like, I remember saying to my mom, thank you so much for taking care of me when I was a baby. I understand how hard that was. Then my kids got, into grade school, and I'm like, thank you so much for taking care of me. And by the time we were in junior high, thank you so much for taking care of me when I was in junior high, because I see now that wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some rebukes that have come my way, but right now they're not registering because I filter out all of that stuff. No, seriously, is that I have benefited many times from people's constructive criticism. So okay. Proverbs 12:25. You don't have to read this. I got this one here.
Okay.
It says, Proverbs 12:25 says that anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. When has someone spoken into your life and truly lifted your heavy heart?
Over and over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
don't think
have a
Go
friend
ahead.
who I don't talk to her very often, maybe once every couple of months or something. But every single time I talk to her, she says something that lifts me up. I mean, it just touches my heart, and I'm like, how does she know to say that to me? But it's really good. And then I had one yesterday. This happened yesterday. It's around 10 in the morning, and I was up. At least I was up and around, and I hear a knock at the door. I hardly ever answer my door. I just don't answer my door. But this time I said, okay, I looked out the window. There was a big old car in front, and I'm like, well, this is somebody. So open the door, and it's an old friend of mine, and she has this, I hadn't talked to her for probably over a year. and she's battling cancer, and it's been really hard. And I open the door, and she has this big old bouquet of flowers for me, and I'm like,
Oh, wow.
Aw.
what are you doing here? She goes, oh, I just wanted to stop by and say hey, because I guess I helped a little bit while she was one of the first people she called, was me, because
Mm-hmm.
I had been her sponsor in the past. And the day she got her diagnosis, she calls me. I was at Bass Lake. I mean, I was on vacation, and I hardly ever answered my phone, and I answered my phone, and she's devastated
Yeah.
devastated over this diagnosis. And
Sure.
but it was just like, so she was just giving me lots of kind words, and I'm like, what a surprise. It just made my day. Really made my
That's
day.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
That reminds me of one that I had. Did I already tell them about Emma Laudenberger? I probably did.
No, I don't remember you ever talking about it.
I had a friend. She was like in her 80s, and she was a lady at our church. Her name was Emma, and I'm sure she's gone on to be with God at this point, because I haven't.
No, it's been a long
It's
time.
been a long time since she moved. But she also had cancer. She had breast cancer, and she was going through radiation. But it was right at the same time that Kerry was going to Mexico for his first mission trip, and I was really, really worried. I think I told you guys this.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, anyway,
We probably forgot.
I was super anxious about that. It's the first time I had an anxiety attack and had to go to the doctor, and get looked into because I thought I was dying, Anyways, Carrie's gone. Kids are all at home. And there's a knock at the door, and I go and open it, and it's Emma. And she says, I just thought you might need a mama hug.
Oh. Oh.
And she's going through treatment for cancer.
Yeah.
And she's coming over to help me, just gave me a hug and said hi and see how everything's going, and then turned around and left.
Yeah.
Wow.
But one thing that happened to me this last Friday when I had my women's Bible study, one of the ladies said, something really nice to me about, what she thought about me. And then it was kind of like everybody started joining in with her. And it was like, I was kind of like embarrassed in a way, but then like I was very touched because they had such nice things to say. And it was a really encouragement.
Well, we know why they have nice things to say
Yeah.
about you.
Yeah,
Because,
we do.
Because
do.
Nikki's
Oh, yeah. Yeah, listen to this.
Nikki's grandson says it.
Yes.
Says
Miss Janice, of course you're nice because nice is in your name.
Oh my gosh.
yeah. That's interesting too, because even that coming from a kid,
Yeah,
Yep.
he's my buddy now.
registers.
Boy, you brought something out in him, Janice. You
Yeah,
really
I like
have.
him a lot.
I wanted to share. I have a friend that I used to work with many years ago, and she has brought me my Daily Bread devotional. She's brought it to my house every 3 months for probably 15 years.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
Wow.
And she just consistently does it. And she is now 76 years old, lost her husband during COVID.
Oh, my.
And you just see people get older, and now I'm thinking it's time to bring her, show her some extra. She's just so special, and she's always positive, and she's an incredible person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, it's wonderful. And we can be that person to someone else.
Yeah.
And so that kind of circles back around to what we were talking about. So that I've had plenty of times when people have lifted my heavy heart. Once when I was laid off from my previous church, the first time I was laid off there, is that two things come to mind. One is a fellow by the name of August, that we were needing the brakes fixed on our car.
Yeah.
And so he came over I don't even know if I asked him to do it. He just decided,
He
he
did
heard
it in the
about
garage,
it. Yeah, I know.
yeah.
But he repaired the brakes, and it was just so meaningful to me because all the while that he was doing that, he was singing a song that, and it wasn't because he was trying to send a message, but it was that praise song where God will make a way when there seems to be no
Aw.
way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. Yeah. And that just really registered. And then there was another guy who just showed up on my doorstep one day. And, we were, at that time, we were completely out of work and no source of income. It was before I went to work at the university. And that he came by and just wanted to drop off a check. He says, when you have a chance, pay it forward. And so I thanked him for it and so on and so forth. And when he left, I looked at it and it was $1,000.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. So yeah.
Wow.
So,
Well, the other time when we were laid off 10 years ago, both of us lost our jobs at the same time. And not only that, we lost really a lot. We lost our church family. We lost a lot of our friends. And we had a guy in the church. Let me think. Was he in the church? I think he went to our church. But he's a Christian man who owned a restaurant. And he said, "You're welcome to come and eat for free at the restaurant anytime."
mm-hmm.
And we ate there so many times. And another couple who, I'll just say it was Reese and Tony Evans, who have been like the best friends to us through all of this stuff. Were just there for us every step of the way.
Yeah.
They just took care of us
Yeah.
when we felt all alone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, like I say, you can be that person to someone else along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, finally, our last question for tonight is that gracious. I actually should say gracious words. Actually, all right. I think it should say gracious may mean courteous, kind, and pleasant. All right. I think it's supposed to read gracious. I should have corrected this. Okay. Enough of that. Gracious words may be courteous, kind, and pleasant, or they could also reflect divine grace. Proverbs 15:26 says that the Lord detests the thoughts of the wicked, but gracious words are pure in his sight. Looking over the past week, where would your words register on the gracious meter? Would they be more in the green zone or in the red zone?
I made a meter.
Oh, you made a meter? Okay, so from 1 to 10, you gave yourself a what?
7.
Okay, that's pretty good. After my uncharitable things I said this today, that I would probably give myself a solid 5. so I'm updating.
Now you're
my,
in probably 7, but my thoughts weren't. Sometimes
He didn't ask that. I'd have to go down to about a 4.
Yeah, I had to apologize this week to somebody because
Oh, don't you hate that?
I do. Because I want to always have my side of the street as clean as I can, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I was just irritable with her. Like I just was like snippy with her, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I had to apologize. So I was in the red zone this week.
Yeah. Well, Elaine Anderson, she made it into the green zone, so that's good.
Ooh.
You know.
Elaine is just the encourager anyway.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
is.
She is.
She really
She
is. She's just the what was
She's bubbly.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know. but I gave her a name at Compass, and now I forgot.
She's the ambassador
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
from afar now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she is the Compass Goodwill Ambassador.
Mhm.
You know. So.
Yeah, you can't talk to her and not smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. All right, guys. Well, that kind of brings us to the end of our lesson tonight. So, what's our assignment for this week?
Text
Gracious words.
Gracious words. Gracious.
Give me a G.
Gracious words text.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gracious words,
Yeah.
text, or Facebook
email or-
Messenger.
Yeah.
you know.
Facebook.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, at least we got a G. You know, we said, "Give me a G," and somebody and give us a G. so, all right, guys. Well, as always, it's fun to hang out with you on Wednesday nights, and I hope that you folks who watched also enjoyed the time together. And so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. And then, Lorene, I'm going to also send you a text of who that lady was, unless you've already figured it out.
No,
So-
I had a couple.
All right, guys. Thanks again. So, all right. Well, thanks again for joining us here on our broadcast this evening, and I hope that you'll join us next week too. And we'll have an opportunity to kind of keep on pushing on. Next week, we're going to be talking about self-control. And so it's, yeah, man, there's an exciting topic. But, I guess it's really a necessary one. And also, I would encourage you to drop by for our broadcasts on Sundays, or you can catch the replay. I've been going through the names of God. And this Sunday, I'll be talking about Jesus, and so hopefully that you'll be able to tune in for that and maybe see Christ through some clearer eyes. And so that's it for now. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.